Hey guys, Zero here, and today I'm playing The Seventh Guest for the PC. This is a special LP that's part of this month's Vedtoberfest, and I'm dedicating this one to my friends Kickass and On Fire. This is an old favorite of mine, released in 1993, and I have very fond memories of playing it as a kid. Now, it definitely has flaws, but there's a certain charm to it that older games like this had back in the day. I'll be playing the game using ScumVM, so don't mind the screen resolution in this menu. The actual game will look fine. And I will say that this is normally a pretty slow paced game, mostly because of the animations for things and moving around the environment. Now, I can't quite recall if this was in the original game or if it's because I'm using ScumVM, but I can speed up a lot of the animations and movement. For this playthrough, I'll be using it here and there for some things, but I'll try not to overdo it too much. The fact is, there are some sections and puzzles of the game that can be an absolute slog to get through if I don't use it, and I feel like it's best for both my sanity and yours. But I'll still be showing off as much of the game as possible. Another thing to keep in mind is that some of the cutscenes, like the intro, can be a bit on the louder side, so I've tried to adjust some of the audio. But for all cutscenes, I won't be talking over them, so you can change your volume if you need to. With all that said, let's get started. Now, I think this is because I'm using ScumVM, but here it has to actually wait for the media drivers to load, and I can speed this up. You can see it goes faster, but it still takes a while, so I'll go ahead and jump forward to when this is fully loaded, so I'll be right back.
Welcome to my house.
Now that line there, welcome to my house, that is actually the only time you ever get to hear that on this menu. Any other time that you come back to the game, he actually says a different line, which I'll show off later. The only way to hear it again is if you completely delete all the save data and start fresh. But anyways, we don't have a game to load, so let's just go ahead and jump into the intro. And like I said, I won't be talking over these, so you can just go ahead and enjoy, and maybe turn down your volume just a little bit for the intro here. So here we go.
He was a drifter, moving from town to town, robbing a gas station here, a grocery store there, until one night. She was coming home from choir practice, but she never got there. Stoff took her purse and ran away. Spent, Stoff had to run and hide. He sunk even lower. He had nothing. No life, no possessions, no dreams. And that's when the vision came. A doll. And in his dream, Stoff reached out. It was a gift. Stoff carved the doll, whittling the haunting face until it was an exact replica. And when he was done. Stoff went to town, to a bar. The owner had a daughter. Ooh, he said his girl would love the strange doll. And Stoff offered it to the man. And the owner, in turn, offered Stoff food and a place to stay. A simple transaction. The first of many. And that night, Stoff had another vision. Stoff created the puzzle just as he saw it, and everyone wanted one. Stoff opened up a shop because everyone wanted a Stoff toy. Every boy and girl in the town, and from all the neighboring towns. A Stoff toy is a toy for life, people said, and no two are alike. Everyone loved his unique toys. Henry Stoff grew wealthy, but then the strange virus came, and some of the children started dying. Dying, clutching their Stoff toys so close. And there was this one last vision, a last dream of a great house, a mansion that the wealthy toy maker was to build. A strange house, a house that scared people.
My, isn't this a cheery place?
Edward, I'm not sure we should have been here today.
Why? Because it's a spooky old house? Don't worry, dear. I'll watch out for you.
What a dump. I expected more of Mr. Stoff.
And Lord, it smells awful too. What's Stoff been doing here?
How did I get here? I remember nothing.
So, we are now in this house, Stoff's house, and we have no idea how we got here or who we are. Now, the game does not ever actually mention, I think, at any time, and I don't seem to recall having a manual for this game, but we, the player is called Ego. That's how we refer to ourselves. We don't actually ever do it in-game. I don't know if it's ever actually mentioned officially anywhere, but that's what I've always seen, is that we play as Ego. Now the characters that we just got introduced to, you heard some of their names, I guess at least with the married couple, but the ones that came in, the first woman, the one in the dress, was Martine Burden. You had the married couple, Edward and Eleanor Knox. You have the other woman who says, "What a dump," Julia Hine. The fancy businessman was Brian Dutton. And the stage magician, the last one, was Hamilton Temple, who's the only one who doesn't say anything, which is kind of weird. Now, before we actually jump into the game proper, you will see that there's some things for navigation. You have this skull hand here, which when it waggles its finger, it means you cannot go that way, or at least not yet. When it does the finger, like, come this way, it means you can go that direction. You can also turn around using, when you move to the sides, usually, you can see it for turning left and right. Down here, you'll often have this is to replay any kind of like cutscene you just saw. So if I were to click this right now, it would do the characters coming in. So I'm not going to do that. And up top here, we can click to actually bring up the menu. So let's do that real quick first. This is where we can save and look at the map. So real quick, we'll go ahead and just make a save. We'll just label this for starting the game. And then let's take a look at the map, because this is actually pretty useful in this, especially if it's your first time playing. Now you can see here that it colored in some of the rooms here. You can kind of tell by the structure. We're standing right here right now. This is to let you know what you have access to in the game. If the room is not lit up, it means you cannot go there right now. The door will be locked, or it just doesn't give you the option to. So right now, we only have a few rooms we can go into. We can't even look in the basement right now. We can look upstairs if we click that on the stairwell itself. We have access to the hallway, but nothing else in there, so there's no point in going up there for right now. As we progress through the game, I'll occasionally show the map and kind of show some of the rooms as they're unlocking and as we complete them. The way the rooms complete are when you actually solve the puzzle for the given room, you'll see that it's going to change color to a little bit like a darker, kind of like red or maroon color. That shows you that you've essentially completed that room. So that's going to help you figure out where you need to go next, for the most part. So when you're done looking at the map, go ahead and click farewell. It doesn't leave the game. You might think it does, but it's just to leave this part of the menu. So to start with, let's go ahead and return. We'll go ahead and go over to the left here to start with and head on over to the first room where we'll have our first puzzle. And this is what I was talking about. You can see that the animations to like turn and walk around, it's slower paced. Not the slowest in the world, but if you're kind of stuck wandering around the house, it can really kind of add to your time playing. But I already have it mapped out how I want to navigate through this game, so that shouldn't really be a problem here. So we're in the dining room. Anytime you come into a room, it's a good idea to hover your mouse around and kind of see what you can or can't interact with, or where you can move. In this case, we can move forward. We can kind of turn to the sides, so we can kind of like turn here and see. Most of the time, it's just going to turn you back to the door you came in, but you kind of get a glimpse of some of the parts of the room here. We may not be able to interact with them, but we can see them, so like all the shelving there. In this case, there's nothing else for us to do but to go ahead and step forward, so let's do that.
I guess our host wants us to fend for ourselves.
Oh, I've tasted better fare.
At least he left his regrets.
I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
I don't know.
Oh, it says that we're each to have a piece. Exactly the same, including the symbols.
Why, that's impossible.
So that cutscene there kind of does two things. It both introduces the characters a little more, as well as sometimes drop you hints about how you're supposed to solve a given puzzle. Some of them are a little more obvious than others. In this particular case, what the woman said, we're each supposed to have a slice, including the symbols. That's kind of your hint on what to do. Now you'll see there, if I hover over this shows you that there is a puzzle to solve here. So let's go ahead and check out this puzzle.
become a grave digger now, have we? You are a glutton for punishment.
See, Stoff doesn't really help you in terms of actually solving the puzzle. He usually just gives you some quips and makes fun of you. So in this case, if you listen to what the lady said, we need to essentially divide this up evenly amongst all the 6 guests there. So we have 5 by 6, so everyone's going to get 5 slices. She also said that we need to make the symbols match. In this case, you have no icing, a tombstone, and a skull. So if you kind of look around, you can see, well, we have 6 with just icing, so 1 each. And then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 skulls and 12 tombstones. So 2 and 2. So 1, no icing, 2 skulls, 2 stones. You need to figure out how to cut the cake so that everybody gets the 5 same slices. But the catch is, the 5 slices, when you carve them out, need to be touching each other. Doesn't matter what shape, they just need to be next to each other. So for example, I can click
2 skulls and 2 stones. The rest is just icing.
Also, Ego yourself will also sometimes voice out things to help you out. In this case, it kind of tells you, yeah, that's what you need to carve out. So,
puzzling.
He also throws out just random puzzling, I don't get this kind of lines that are just throwaway, which sometimes bogs down the puzzle, but it's fine. So in this case,
some cannot be created more equal than others.
See, again, he's doing more lines. He will eventually stop. He'll run out of things to say here. So once I do these 5, it's going to carve them out. Now, there are multiple ways to solve this puzzle here in particular. Some of the puzzles have only one solution, while this one, there's a ton of different ways you can cut this out. So as long as you make them all connect when you do it, it's fine. So we're going to go ahead and take these. And then let's see, how do I want to carve out next? Because you want to kind of start planning out your move like, okay, if I carve this out, what does it leave behind? Can I make it work with what I've done? So if I were to say, take these pieces out. You'll actually see that immediately, okay, now I've botched it, right? You can already tell right away, I'm not going to be able to get back to this section right here, because even if I were to complete this one here, for some reason, this puzzle in particular does not just automatically fail it. There are other puzzles where once you make a mistake, it'll either automatically reset, or you'll even hear Ego say, I'm going to have to start again. In this particular case, I don't know why it doesn't tell you, hey, you need to restart, because clearly it's already messed up. Now, maybe it will here because now we're down to the last slices. But see, even this one here, it doesn't. And that's what I thought. The only way to fix this is to reset the puzzle, which you can do by hovering down here.
I'm going to have to start again.
Which then regenerates it. And anytime certain things happen in the game, it does that little animation of the house. So in this case,
2 skulls and 2 stones. The rest is just icing.
We're going to repeat what we did.
Puzzling.
And see, he's repeating the same lines.
Some cannot be created more equal than others.
Which is why the game can get kind of bogged down when you're trying to solve the puzzles, because this one's not too bad, but there are some puzzles where when you have to restart, it really does become a slog. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to carve it out a little differently. So let's kind of like map out, okay, see if I were to take these out, then I can take that out, then I can take, okay, so we'll do like this. Honestly, every time I solve this puzzle, I always do it in like a different manner. I never do it exactly the same. I just kind of like eyeball it at the time. And with that one, we'll be good.
There.
And then usually you get a cutscene after most puzzles.
Don't worry. I won't bite. Edward, we could help each other out. I could help you, and you could help me. come and talk in my bedroom upstairs, where it's nice and private.
The game likes to do that a lot. It throws out screams, and I don't know who's screaming in that instance, but there, Martine's hitting on Edward, even though he's a married man. But Edward didn't seem to be too opposed, at least not there anyways. Now, sometimes after you finish a puzzle in a room, it does unlock some extra things you can do. In this case, if I hover near here, you'll get this mask symbol. You get actually two different ones. You'll see here you have this chattering teeth, which I'll show in a sec. But this one usually means it's going to show you like a little cutscene or like a voice line or something like that. Sometimes it might just be something you already saw. Other times it's actually something new. So it's usually worth kind of checking. In this case, if you clicked here.
Come to my room, upstairs.
Ooh, don't mind if I do. And sometimes you can just repeat it. Now in this case here, if I click this teeth chattering thing. It serves no purpose, it's just a fun little animation they put in for kicks. This was actually here when we first came in the room. Only this one unlocked after solving the cake puzzle. But with that, that's one puzzle down. So actually, if we go ahead now and look at our map, we should see that this room has been colored in to signify that we've completed the puzzle, and you can see right there, it fades in. And by solving this one, we actually unlocked another room. So that's kind of how this game works. As you solve puzzles, you kind of start opening up more rooms to see more cutscenes and solve more of the puzzles. So we actually have quite a few now that we can access. And it doesn't generally matter what order you do them in. I do have a set path that I'm going to go, but generally you can go kind of whichever order you want. So you do get to see the game in a non-linear fashion in terms of the story and the character interactions. So depending on how you play, you might kind of have a little bit of a different experience from someone else like myself. But in this case here, now that we've solved this, we can go ahead and leave this room. There's nothing left here. But for now, I think we'll go ahead and call this the first part, now that we're past the intro and all that, and I've basically shown off the game mechanics. And from here on out, we can just kind of plow through the different puzzles and see the different cutscenes and try to figure out the story and what's exactly going on and maybe who we are. But for that, let me go ahead here and make a save. So we'll call this end of part 1. We'll go ahead and save here, and in the next video, we'll go ahead and continue exploring the house and solve some more puzzles. So I'll see you then.